Hey everybody, and welcome to Bank of Trading Value. We got to start off each day the same way. Ask yourself this question: what are you willing to trade for freedom? Again, what are you willing to trade for freedom? And it's not just about trading. Today we are going to talk about trading in a sense, but this is for the people that are not the seven-figure earners just yet, not on the high six figures or even mid six figures. This is for the people here that are just starting out or you got very little money. So we're going to talk about a few principles right here with this blackboard. Now, the first thing is that it's easier. Let's say that you are in the blue right here. Before that, we're going to start the board. So we're going to have a white line on the bottom. And we're going to have a white line on the top. All right. The top is going to be cash, money, or some kind of assets and money. And on the bottom, it's going to be time. We're going to put time here. All right. All right. If I can get the T correct, make sure this is showing completely on the screen, and it is. So this is you. Let's say you are this circle. All right. I don't know why it's doing that weird thing. It's supposed to make a circle, but however, it's auto-correcting here. It's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time, like straight up, than it is to make a little bit of money over a longer period of time. All right. And that's where this is coming from right here. If you have a tiny bit of money and your pockets are kind of down here, and you're using that little bit of money to trade and essentially gamble, it seems like it wouldn't make as much sense. It would seem like if you're going to use the money, you should buy some education for yourself instead of using a huge amount of money or borrowing money to go to a university per se, right? Unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or something that essentially requires that you do it. Some countries, they do require their people to go to university. But even in that case, in order to get a job or you get a certain age, like Nigeria, for instance, they over there, I think it's 35 and then you don't require that. But if you're outside of those locations, and particularly if you're listening to me, you're probably somewhere in the West, you're not required to go to a university. Use your time to your advantage. You have nothing but time if you have absolutely no money. So let's erase this again. If you're starting off at flat zero or very little, then not financial advice, of course. I think I may be required to say that, even though I'm not talking about anything particular with trading, but just in case, cover my self, not financial advice. This is that education. In my opinion, from what I've seen and from the advice I've given with people to start a business or to go for what they're doing, they've made more money in a short period of time than they did trying to go what they were doing before, which is here, you're going back to zero, then you're going up back to zero, then you're going below because you're borrowing money, and so on and so forth. And you're basically doing a parabola down here. Instead of the parabola of your life going up, or even these moments like this, like people would see in trading, you're just on the bottom. All right. So it's a lot easier to do this. So let's say this another way. It's much easier to make, let's say this is 100,000 right here. And let's say this is on the bottom. This tick is 1 year. This is 2 years. This is 3 years, 4, 5, 6, and then of course 7. All right. Now, here's what it is. It's easier to make, and let's say this is essentially, well, we don't need to do that. It's easier to make 100,000 in a month than it is to make 100,000 in a year. Actually, that's a month. Than it is to make 100,000 in a year, because we got to get to the same spot. You get what I'm saying? Now, let's say that because this is a log, it's on logarithmic scale. So as it goes up, the amount of money increases. That's a million. Then we go to 10 million right here. It's easier to make $1 million in a month than it is to make $1 million in a year. Now, some of you are going to say, that doesn't make any sense. Let me ask you here. You're essentially looking at this equation from the same point where you are now. Let's say that you are a person that are here and you're struggling to pay your bills, right? So we're going to erase this so that I can show you this example in the middle. Let's say that you're struggling to pay your bills. You assume because it's hard and you're struggling to pay your bills, let's put it in the red. Here are the bills right here. And you're like, yeah, I can barely afford to pay them. And you're at, let's say, making about $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Maybe you're making less, maybe you're making a little bit more, but you're struggling to pay your bills. So you assume because it's so hard to get a tiny bit of money here, a tiny bit of money there, a tiny bit of money right here, and you're getting tiny bits of money all over the place, that you cannot get larger amounts of money very quickly. So you get trapped in the, let me just take this tiny bit of money mindset. So when you're trying to make 100,000, you're going through a struggle and you finally figure out how to make it in a year. But first it took you 2 or 3 years, right? It's taking you 2 or 3 years to make it. Well, I'm here to say that no, you could do it in a month. And it's also easier to make it in a week than it is in a month. It's easier to make it in a day than it is in a week. And the reason for that is because we have things called leverage. Remember, there's no energy that is created nor destroyed here. Now you're going to say, wow, this sounds weird. It's physics. I'm not very good in physics or whatever, right? But nothing is created or destroyed. Everything is conserved. And it takes a lot of energy in order to make a lot of wealth, right? So if you don't have the energy to get there, think about the rocket fuel. How are you going to do it? Well, did you notice that they launch rockets only in specific spots on the planet? Aren't they doing it in what? Florida? Aren't they, isn't Elon Musk testing them in Texas? They're having them in specific spots on the planet. Why? Because that's where the momentum, where the spin is. That's where some of the gravity can be weaker. That's where it's higher elevation. You're getting everything to your advantage. It's called leverage. Yeah, maybe there could be rockets launched at a below sea level. Maybe there could be rockets launched at other places. But why would you expend all of that energy in order to do that? Instead, you're taking this path right here. This is what they're doing when they're putting it at specific spots. Instead of taking this path, all of this extra time that it required to go here, when you could just use this time here. Now that sounds simple, right? It is. It's so simple that people do not realize that's the truth. So when you're trading and you're trading with tiny bits of money, this is why I say it's for the 7-figure earners, or at the very least, the mid-tier or high tier. You're trading, you're down here and you might get lucky, but you're gambling. So the chances are you're going to stay at the bottom. But a person that has, here's it in trading. If you already got 100,000 and this is your baseline, and you don't have to worry about the bills like that, the chances of you getting to $1 million is easier than a person starting down here having to focus on the bills. They're starting down here having to focus on the bills. How do they get to $1 million when they got not even 1,000 in the trading account? Maybe they got only 2,000 in the trading account, 100 in the trading account. How are they getting to $1 million? Somebody with 100,000, they say, hey, here's 10,000 of my dollars. And let's say somebody had $1 and it goes up 100%. You've now taken, let's say it takes 1 month for a trade to go up. One person has $1. Let's say $10. Okay, 100% profit, that's 20. So they made $10 on one. The other person has gone up by 10,000 and you went up by $10. See, that time could have been, where's this $10? I got this $10 from someplace. I can see if I can get another $10. Pay for some education. Use this to buy a couple of ads. Let me see. I got $10. Let's do $2 per day. I have a product that I created. I have a service that I have. I can use $2 per day on Instagram, $2 per day on Twitter, $2 per day on a Facebook and let's try to test this out. I don't have that much money, but what I do have is my ability to, there you go, type. I got my ability to think. You see, the leverage that we have is the ability to think. All right. We got the ability to think, whereas other people are struggling to do that. Because think about this. If you already have money, you have more time to think, not just more time to think. Now, if you have money and you aren't thinking, you can lose that money. I would know from personal experience. If you have money, but you're not thinking, you can easily lose that money. But again, it's like the easy come, easy go effect. So if you guys have any questions about that, definitely ask them in the comment section below. You can join the Discord. It's only $30 per month. And again, the bare minimum here is that you're able to pay the $30 with the information that you receive. What I'm going to do once we get to 1,000 subscribers, actually, we're going to have I'm going to create a book for this. But what I'm going to do is that for each person that wants to register, we're going to have an online Zoom session. We're going to do it for at least 4 or 5 days online. And as I'm creating I'm working with the outline for the book, and I'm going to do that with live coaching with people. So once that gets closer to that, I'll give you more details. But as it is now, I'm going to charge $197 or $297 or something like that for the people that are getting the live coaching. And then after that, after it's launched already, before the book is there, and they want to get group sessions and live trading. And this is for the business owners. These are for people that are trying to up themselves and upgrade themselves with the information that we have here. So if you're a highly motivated and you're saying, hey, I need to get to the next level, we got that like $199 or $200, whatever, I'll round it there. That little mind psychological thing, I just went and defaulted to it, but $200 or $300. And instead of when it launches, it's going to be $900 or more. And then also the book that comes with it. You're going to get the information that would be in the book. You're going to get the information that would be in those post launch after it's already created and the program is created. But you're going to be able to get that at much cheaper price. Now, you see what I just did there? Let's have that as an example. It will be easier to make money in that aspect instead of, and this is the leverage right here. I have the internet, just like you're on the internet listening to this. I want to use myself as an example. Let's say that only 2 people register. Okay, I'm not having any idea if they register, if 0 people register or 2 people, whatever. Now imagine that 100 people register. Now with the 2 people that register, let's start with that example, or 0, I have to physically go one by one by one by one by one. Here's the little money approach right here. Let's say that it's 0 or 2. Okay, I'm going one by one and taking all of this time and getting rejected. All right. Or what I'm doing is I'm going right here and I'm just going to figure out I got 2. Or I'm going right here and I figured out I got 0, but I just interacted with, again, 1,000 people, or whoever's watching this right now. I got 1,000 subscribers, which means my view count will likely be higher than that. But that's what I'm interacting with. That's the same thing here. If I have a course, let's say that enough people had registered. It's 300. It's 100 people. That's what, $30,000 if I'm doing my math right. Let me take out my calculator on here. I believe that is. I got to deal with numbers all day. So 300 and 100 people registered. Yeah, that's 30,000. So I'm getting 30,000 by using the leverage of the internet. Whereas if I went and got 100 people manually, how long would that take me? Right? I'm taking, let's say that I have that. I don't know when I get to 1,000, but I'm waiting until I get to that point. But let's say right after I get to 1,000, the clock starts. And I say it's 3 weeks from now of whenever I get to that. That's 3 weeks of time that I'm spending, and I know it's 3 weeks. Will I be able to get 3 weeks worth of people of that same 100 in there? Maybe it takes me 2, 3, 4 months or a year to get 100 people. But what if I have the conference already within just 3 weeks? I might not get to the 100, whereas online I did. And how many people do I have to go through to do that? Now I'm going to do one more thing right here. Let's remove this, the T right there. Let's remove the T, and we're going to replace this with an E for effort. All right. For the amount of effort it would take me, let's say 30,000 is right here because it's on a log scale. Actually, 30,000 would be closer here on a log scale. So let's say this effort is 3 weeks. And I did this, and that's 30,000 because that's 100 people. So the effort wasn't that much, and the payoff was right here. But let's assume it takes 1 year. Let's just say I do get that, and I have to do multiple conferences to get that same 100. Now, the effort increased, but I still got the same amount because I had to go through manually, one by one by one by one, get the rejection one by one by one by one. And then I finally got up to the amount of people throughout that time. Now, remember, here's another thing that's happening during that same time. Okay, I got to get used to this program that they have here. Don't forget the bills. So that means I had 1 month worth of bills right here versus I have 12 months worth of bills on the other one. So that means even still with the 30,000 before taxes, I still made less money for more effort. You get what I'm saying? Because I didn't use the leverage of the internet. I took 3 weeks here and I took 12 weeks here. The money appears to be the same, but it's not the same. I've had to deal with 12 months worth of bills on this one right here. The effort is just so much more to get the same amount. So when we talk about, hey, let's erase that real quick. So when I talk about, let's do the bills. So when I talk about, hey, it's easier to get 100,000 in a month than it is to get 100,000 in, let's put this here, than it is to get 100,000 in a year. That 100,000 isn't even equal. Let's forget inflation. Let's forget inflation for 1 second. We're going to put 1 month, 1 year. If you are taking a year, and here's how the principle works. Yes, it takes a lot of energy. Think of it this way. An object in motion stays in motion, right? So the startup energy for somebody looking to start something, in the beginning, we don't know what to do a lot of times. So we're putting in all this effort and we're kind of going nowhere. And it takes us a while. But once you learn how to walk, you're like, wait a minute, I can walk. Because remember, it's still, the energy is still there. You've gotten more energy efficient, but the energy is going somewhere else. Maybe it's in the heat. Maybe you're not sweating as much because when you're a baby, you're crawling, crying, and all of this. All of these things that are getting in your way. But now the effort goes here. Now you learn how to run. Now that requires more energy, but then you're going faster, so it balances out. Then you're like, wait a minute, I could use a horse. Now the energy for the horse is now taking the place of the energy there. Now you say, hey, we made a car. Here's the value going up again. The energy's still going forward, but it's going up. Wait a minute, rocket ship, plane, helicopter, jet, and then rocket ship. And then whatever else humanity endeavors to invent in the future. But that's how it is. It's like exponential growth. Exponential growth. Think about how AI is there and all of these chips. Eventually, I think what Elon Musk did, the chip in the brain. Now we can communicate inside of people's brains, which is both scary and fascinating at the same time because ads, them taking over your body, putting you in a jail cell of your brain. There's just so many different things that could just be bad that could happen from that. But following the example, we go from manual, we go from sounds. If we were to talk about humanity, go from sounds to now we go from writing to communicate. Then we go, or words, and then writing. And then we go here for writing on Sanskrit or stone. And then we go writing on paper. And then we have what? Computers and phones and cell phones and internet and so on and so forth. That's just communication. So if you guys are interested in that and taking that next level up to expand your business, to expand the ideas that you have, and you're highly motivated to improve, it's only $30 per month for the Discord. It's the Bank of Trading Value Discord. That is not for trading necessarily. We talk a little bit about trading, but it's not. The intention is to have a live at the current moment is to have a live stream every Sunday or Saturday, right there, Saturday or Sunday. And I make the announcement before the start of the week. And then you get to ask questions. We get to walk you through. When I've coached people through what they're doing, anybody that has followed through on what I said, they wind up going places. The people that have all of these disagreements, just like it's people that disagree with this, it can't be easier to make 100,000 in a month than it is a year. It just don't make any sense. It's because you're using the same mathematics. You said, okay, 1 plus 1, and you're doing plus 1 math, and you don't realize, and you're saying, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, that equals 4. And I'm essentially saying 1 plus X is equaling 10,000. And you're like, yeah, I don't get it, because the only thing I know is that 1 plus 1 equals 2 plus 1 equals 3 plus 1 equals 4. And even better, I'm saying here 10x equals 10,000. And you got to solve for X, but you don't know how to do the problem equation where you subtract the 1 from both sides, and then you got 9,999. Or on the other hand, you don't know how to divide or multiply yet. So you're seeing this equation and you're rubbing up a question mark. That's what's coming out. That's what's coming out to most people. And so when they see that, they start arguing against it. Can't be right. Can't be that simple. But it is. What do you think the crypto market is kind of banking on? It's banking on people with that same type of thing, but it's trying to say, hey, this is the typical. Yeah, you could just make a bunch of money like it's the typical, but that's actually still the exception. The vast majority of people are not going to make money. That's just how it is. The vast majority of people are going to lose money trading. The vast majority of people are going to lose money in crypto. But they have you thinking, let's take this off the screen. But they have you thinking that you're going to do something. So they're billing you or showing you, that's what I mean by that. They're showing you the outcome, but you don't see the cost associated with it. And it's literally you being down here doing this parabola. And so when I talk to you and say, yeah, you can come back to crypto a little bit later when you got a bunch of excess money, like right around here or somewhere around here, or better yet, up here, so that you can actually have max leverage. And then when you're faced with these bills, it's like, yeah, the bills are going down relative to how fast you're going up in your income. Isn't that funny? Even if you were to increase your bills, unless you're just not thinking, again, remember I said, if you're not thinking, then those problems happen. Your bills will appear to go down as your income goes up. That's another principle for another video. Again, you're highly motivated, you're ready to take some action, go ahead and join our Discord. And again, once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to have that live coaching session where we're going to have like 4 or 5 days. And I'll announce it once we get there. So like, comment, subscribe, and share with other people that need to hear this message, because too many people are out there wasting their time. And I'll catch you guys on the next one on Bank of Trading Value. What are you willing to sacrifice for your freedom?